Hello everyone. So today we are going to see another interesting problem, copy list with random pointer. So we are given an linked list with random pointer and we have to return the cloned form of the linked list or copy of the linked list given. So let's understand the problem with an example. Okay, here is an example of a linked list given. So every node is connected to its next node using a next pointer. That is the usual structure of a linked list. But here this linked list has an extra pointer which is a random pointer which points at random node in the given list. And we have to clone the list including the pointers and the random pointers given as such. So how do we do it? So first let's consider we are going to create a or clone a node. We first have created a node's clone and we point its next pointer to its next node. But there exists no node to point its random pointer. So we have to create all the nodes first in order to point our random pointer. That is the first key. So in this case, if you have created everything, then how do you access the nodes in linear time? So we just created a complete list, but again traversing and finding its clone is pretty difficult and takes more time. So we are going to get the help of hash map to access the clone nodes in linear time. So first, our hash map is going to have the actual node as its key and cloned nodes as its value. So that is going to be our first pass. In our first pass, we are going to just clone the nodes. There are going to be no connections. We are just going to clone the nodes and save that in our hash map. So now let's clone. In our first pass, we have cloned all the nodes given. So now what are we going to do? We are going to ask where is the clone node to the map. So once we are going to put a pointer in our first node and we're going to ask where is your clone node, and it is going to ask hash map and give us access to its clone node in linear time. So now we get our clone node. Now what are we going to do? So now we are going to move to our random node from its clone node and ask where is your clone node, and it again give access to its clone node. So we are going to just map our clone node to where the clone node of random pointer is. So where is the clone node of a random pointer? It is going to point its pointer there, and simply it is going to point its next pointer here, and our next pointer, our actual pointer moves to the next node. Stay with me as we iterate, you're gonna understand it. So now we have moved to our second node, that is 6. Here we are going to ask where is your clone node. Hashmap is going to give access to its clone node and we're gonna point it here, and we simply gonna point its pointer to its next node and ask 6 where is your random random pointers clone node. So its random pointers point at 5 and its clone node is going to be this. So we are simply going to connect the random pointer to the clone node of its random pointer. So again our pointer move here to 2 and it is going to ask again the hash map where is my clone node. It gives access in constant time, and we're gonna move our pointer to its random node. So its random node is 3. We are going to 3, and where is the clone node of 3? In hashmap it gives us the clone node. So we are going to point the clone node of 2, the random pointer of clone node of 2 to clone node of 3. And finally our pointer moves to 3, and we're gonna ask where is your clone node, and it is here, and we are going to move its pointer to its random node, and its random node is 6, and we are going to point a random pointer to the random node's clone node. So this is how we are going to clone finally to our linked list. So let's see this code before we move to our second approach. As I said, I'm gonna declare a hash map to hold our actual nodes and clone nodes. and I'm going to check basic condition, that is if head is equal to null, then there is no list exists, so return null. If not, I'm going to create a current node to iterate through our linked list, and if current node is not equal to null, we are just going to clone our complete list and put it in our hash map. So now we have cloned all our nodes given in the list. Now it's time to map our pointers. So we are getting our clone nodes from map. So once we got, we are going to create pointers, that is temp is the clone node and temp.next is equal to where the current node's next point. We have to get the current node's next, and we are going to get the random of current node and map to the temporary node we creating. We have cloned our nodes, so finally return our head. Now let's run. So this algorithm runs in linear time and linear space. So how do we still make it work in big O of 1 space complexity? Anyway, in our second approach, again, the time complexity is going to be linear, but here we use hash map to get access to our clone nodes. How do we do it without a hash map? So here is a second approach without using hash map and reducing the space complexity of the algorithm. This is going to be a little bit tricky. Maybe we cannot come up with this in a 45 minutes pressured interview, but I want to show how the approach works and how can we code this way. So now let's start creating our clone nodes, and we are not going to put that into our hash map. Instead, we are going to connect it with the original list. So now I'm gonna point my next pointer of my current list to the cloned list. The same way, now our current original list's next point is pointing its clone, and its clone is pointing to the next of original list. So without using hash map, we just messed the connection of linked list by pointing to its clone. So this will happen in our first pass. So in our second pass, we are going to connect its random pointers. So how do we connect its random pointer? So we are going to connect the random of current.next to random of its random.next. Simple. So consider this is having value 5. We are going to connect 5's clone to where its random points its next. That is, if this is a current dot next dot random is going to be current dot random dot next. I know this is a bit tricky, but stay with me. So now once we made the connection, it is going to be. So now let's move our pointer to our second node, and we are going to again connect current dot next dot random is equal to current dot random dot next. So simply by our second pass, we'll be done connecting our random pointers. So now we have done cloning our nodes and connected our random pointers, but we have missed connecting our next pointers here. We just want to have our original list and clone list intact in order to return our result. So how do we connect our next in right way? So simple. So to connect the next, I'm gonna point current dot next is equal to current dot next. So this is my current. My current dot next is the cloned one, and we are going to connect current dot next is equal to current dot next, and current dot next is equal to current dot next. Simple. By using this way, we are going to connect its next. So thus we are done connecting our linked list, and we are going to return our cloned list in or big O of 1 space complexity. So you can find the code in my description. Thanks for watching.